We got it. Wonderful. It's preparing live show. Oh. I'm so excited I could tickle myself. Oh my God. Yay, I feel so much better.
You feel accomplished.
Oh, dear Lord, honey. Let's just go ahead and end it now and have a cigarette and well, I'll go tickle myself in the bathroom later. How you doing, darling?
Good, how are you? Oh my God.
So now we're going to go ahead
we
and
are here. Yes.
This will probably be edited out later, but right now we're okay. So let's go ahead and start this like professionals, right? With a A-L-I-E-S, something like that. And we'll go again. So ready? Centering breath.
Oh, grounding breath. Yeah.
This is really fun. Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to whatever the hell we just happened to do. Welcome to our little interview here. My name is Jacob Jennings with the Sherlock Holmes Foundation. I'm also going to be your MC for the TAB retreat in Cancun, Mexico, this September 11th through the 18th. That's 7, right? Yeah, week. Wonderful. And I'm joined with our extra special speaker, Miss Tanya Oliver. Hello, gorgeous. How are you?
Hello, gorgeous. I'm great now that we're actually operating.
For those of you who have not been following on the crap sheet that has been us getting this technical difficulty up today, we finally did it. We're streaming somewhere. We're together. She looks amazing. I look less dead. Thank you to a ring light. Things are working. We have had lighting issues, mic issues, Facebook issues, but you know what? We all have daddy issues. So that is why we have Tanya on here to tell us how we can take those issues and turn them into our fullest potential.
Taking those issues out of your tissues. Well, I'm not going to be working on your daddy issues, but I will be helping you operate at higher levels regardless of what life throws at you. How about that?
I can live with that. So, and tell us, you and I spoke before. We're already going to be BFFs. For those of you who don't know, we both live in Boca Raton, Florida. And Tanya actually helps entrepreneurs scale their business by taking whatever internal talents that they have and pairing them against their limiting beliefs. So she does a lot of things like, well, actually, tell us what you do. Why don't you speak for yourself?
Rewind.
You to mansplain your own business. Go on.
Yeah, everybody is human. So we all have our own, tools that we use to help us cope with triggered emotions. Typically, those tools don't work out for us or else we would be thriving. Most people are living in survival mode. So we take the old toolbox that no longer serves you because at this point, most of the time, makes somebody a liability to themselves versus an asset. So I teach people how to really get on their own team by building out new tools to help serve you. So when you are triggered or when craziness happens in life, maybe it be a death or a business fail, or you just feel like life has really knocked you down, you know that you're going to be okay. You know that you can put one foot in front of the other. You know you're going to get up and that you're going to end up thriving. So we take all that energy from survival, bring it into thriving, and you feel self-sufficient and capable to go ahead and operate as your best self for your business, for your family, and knowing that how you are internally is just an extension of everything else in your life. So if you want to do extraordinary things at extraordinary levels, that requires you to become extraordinary.
And how do you recommend people, first of all, how do they start identifying some of those limiting beliefs that keep them in that old paradigm?
Yeah, well, I think that's a great question. I think the first thing is just evaluating your life. I always say, life, we all have an overly full life box. And within our life box, we have different components. We have our career, we have our finances, we have our relationships, we have our soul family, our family, we have our contributions to society. And you just want to think okay, maybe one box is a 10 out of 10, and another box is a 1. And so this is something called a life wheel. You're just taking inventory. And if you're not happy with the overall quality and you don't feel fulfillment with your life box, then there's some work to be done. And typically a lot of it stems from, old personality traits that were developed from childhood and that they've just become autopilot. But they can be just like they were learned, with foundation of growing up. Most people didn't have a solid foundation, and we just reframe it and we build a new one. And, so giving you new tools to handle, to see it. Self-awareness is one big part of it. We become curious versus judge it. And then we seek out and create solutions.
That sounds absolutely accurate to what I've experienced, which I love. What are the first things when people start actually identifying some of these traits in themselves, and you help them find those, I assume?
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the indicators? You hold their hand. What are the first things you notice when you first start talking with somebody? You do like an intake, you start talking about, say they want to scale their business. Although we're all one person, right? I think it's very interesting that people think I'm just going to work on my business, but they neglect their health or their family or we're all one person, right? So how do you start to unify these different areas of one's life to bring them up to a higher level?
Sure. It's funny because Carlos is going to be speaking there, and I work with Carlos and his family, and amazing human, so Terry, and really everybody that's going to be there. I'm really excited. We're going to make this party of the year there.
Oh my God, it's going to be awesome.
You guys need to go. There's still time, for real. But Carlos and I had this conversation. He asked me, and it's interesting because Carlos asks the best questions, by the way, well, besides you too. But Carlos, he always asks, he's just so curious, which I love. And he goes, what do you think comes first? Is it mind first, spirit first, body first? And I had to think about that. And I was like, the way that I teach, that I've found the greatest success because of everything that happens, is you have to first learn to take care of your body. It's not just about aesthetics and looking great. That's just the bonus. But when you take care of the body and you strengthen the body and you're on routine, it helps a lot with mental strength, with emotional stability. And then you feel more capable of being able to go into the deeper stuff, like the mindset and the limiting beliefs, and then your emotional, ups and downs. And so there are certain things that are in place, which are your foundation, which still do stem from the very bottom of the spine, also known as the root chakra, which is all foundation. And that is a survival mode thing. So you learn to take care of yourself, self-care, by first taking care of the body. Then we can get into the mental, emotional. Then you're able to really reconnect with your highest self, your best self, so that you can, operate at the level that you can operate at. That's why we have that cravings and desires.
That's well said. I mean, the body is the vessel, right? So if we take care of the vessel, then you can put better things inside of it. Which I think that's I like how you said that.
A lot of people don't like when I used to hear that, I'm like, whatever. People don't move forward for two reasons in life. And I know a lot of this because I'm a total rebellious personality type, extreme, until I understood myself. So this is really the work about really self-mastery and knowing yourself. And the more you know yourself, the more that you can create the life you want to create. And a lot of it also comes back to is there's two reasons why people don't move forward. One is resistance. Resistance stems from just not understanding something. So for example, when you said the body's the vessel, it didn't really hit me in the heart. I was all if it doesn't hit you in the heart, because the heart recognizes truth, but the mind is can trick us. There's can have duality in the mind. But you have to understand why something's a priority. And typically, especially with high-end achievers and performers, if they understand that they want to be more mentally stable, they want to have focus and vitality, you have to use trigger words for people in order for them to not resist prioritizing their workouts, or eating better foods in alignment to their blood type so that they don't have inflammation, and understanding okay, who cares inflammation? I don't have to go to the hospital, so I'm not going to prioritize it. Yeah, well, hey, inflammation affects your performance. Wait, what? I'm intrigued. Tell me more about this. So everything comes back to the mind, which I think most high-end performers and entrepreneurs, we want to have a clear mind. We want to when technology wasn't working, we're literally we sat down and was hey, let's do some grounding breaths real fast. And whatever just happened, because your schedule I know is just to the point. My schedule's getting way more I'm finding time. So everybody's is like that, but we have to take those moments and be clear and fully present, because that's where our personal power is. Or else you're just going to be all over the place, and that's not really living. And if you're not living, you're not thriving, you're surviving.
I agree 100% to that. Well said. By the way, I have to know, what hair color do you use? I love it. It's definitely a brand, don't is I love it.
I'll have to send you Amber's. I don't know. I do what I do best, and I hire out the rest. I had no idea how to get on like Facebook. I was like, I had to call Jackie. Like, Jackie, please.
We don't know. Yeah, we don't know what's going on with that. Usually, the thing is so weird because you can usually stream from Zoom to Facebook, but for some reason, it just didn't want to do it today. I don't know. It was being moody. I've been moody. I understand.
But that's the whole point, is think about how many people in this world, like something bothers them, they trigger, they get angry, they get frustrated. So many emotions start to happen. And then all of a sudden, either they're going to numb themselves, like, oh, I need to like go pop a pill, or I need to go do a bump, or I need to like go like drink a beer, like, you know, and instead of like feeling the pain versus like, okay, you know what, like, let's take a moment, let's do some breathing, let's go through the pain, like, and then we're not going to quit. And if more people like had the right tools to be able to like push forward when like things don't go your way, like things would be so much better off, and people would be achieving like things at such a high level, like financially, romantically, career-wise, like everything. And they feel that fulfillment and the vitality, because when you accomplish something, they know, when we actually got on here and started working, we're like, yes,
we did it. Thank God. It felt a little more of a victory, which is wonderful.
Exactly.
But and you're right.
And that's the accomplishment factor, you know.
And it feels good, even if it is just small right now. But it's not about
builds confidence. Yeah,
that's right. It's right. Yeah. Results will come. What's Sherman's quote? Might be Sun Tzu actually says, the battles are won before they begin.
Oh, I was going to say the other quote. I was going to say the other quote. What did he say? I sent a meme to somebody. It was like, it gets the people going. Who did that in the streaking when he went like, no, he goes, okay.
We're already talking about streaking. Okay, that's another conversation.
Come to
Cancun. And we're also in South Florida, so I'm just very easy for us to do. It's always, always
movie quote? It's like, it gets the people going. I don't know.
I had previously, I just started my nonprofit a year and a half ago, Sherlock Holmes Foundation, and then we were taking homeless youth in off the streets who were LGBTQ, 18 and over, because I'm not a foster care parent, to be very clear, and I wanted to help more. Somehow I knew I had to do more, and I hired a coach like yourself, a high performance coach, and we really addressed a lot of the limiting beliefs that I was facing. When I started to hold myself accountable and recognize where I was weak, and I started to love myself in spite of it, my foundation exploded. We expanded into what we went from that one rental house to opening a home, our second home in Colorado Springs. While I lived in Florida, across the country, we opened an 8-bedroom, 5-bath house. Then in November, we opened a transgender rescue farm. Then we bought 20 mobile homes in Georgia in December. And it just kept going. We had about 12 doors in Palaca, Florida. It just kept growing. And it wasn't because I couldn't always have done it, but I hadn't stepped in and let myself do that. Yeah. Which makes me go, I wonder.
Yeah, you were being a liability versus an asset to yourself.
And the thing is, I have to do it every day. I've got to get out of my way every single day. And that's okay, right?
As long as you win the battle. Have you ever heard of the battle of two wolves?
We each have two wolves inside of us. The one we feed grows strongest.
Yes, exactly. So the duality of the mind, the confliction of the mind, and a lot of it too, it's old programming. Like, I don't know. I mean, I didn't grow up with a family where I was fed like affirmations and positive incantations and, how to reframe negative thoughts. And, like, we actually shut down our emotions. And once you understand your emotions are actually information, like, so we need to lean into them and use them as forms of information. And that's also the biggest difference between pain and suffering, by you going through your pain and looking at your wounds and looking at like, the things that were holding you down and chaining you down in your life, you're able to like do and live and thrive and do the things that like matter most to your heart, so that you actually are tremendously contributing to the world and to society, so people get to benefit from your gifts. And so not only are you doing a service for yourself, you're also doing a tremendous service for the rest of the world. And, if we learn to finally get out of our own way and start feeding that segment of ourselves that already exists, then, everybody will benefit from it. Everybody.
And everyone deserves to benefit from us. We are all here for a bigger purpose. We all have different personalities. And that's the thing I think people hold themselves back with. I'm an introvert, I'm an extrovert. That's a label. You are who you are. And people will gravitate to you because there are more people like you than not like you. Surprising.
Yeah, we have to.
And if we all step up to the higher place, we can all make a bigger, better world for everyone. Go ahead.
Absolutely. No, I say like you have to like yourself. You have to learn to like yourself first. And one thing, like, I'm very honored to be a part of the Tab Tribe is that everything's an extension of you. So if you first aren't liking yourself and you're not having, self-honesty, there's no self-trust. So what makes you think anything in your life is going to be quality bound? It's not. And that's not even living. That's just like being alive. And, that's almost like, it's depressing. And that's why a majority of people are in that space, anxiety, depression, and they're not actually really getting to enjoy the pleasure of life and enjoying amazing people like yourself and having just being happy, happiness.
Life's too short not to be happy.
Happiness, vitality, exactly. But every single day you have to work for it. There's exercises for your body. There's exercises like we want to keep our teeth healthy. We got to brush them every day. We've got exercises for our mind, tools to reclaim our emotions, and it's just knowing yourself, mastering yourself, master yourself, and master your life. That's how it works.
When did you start your journey to mastering yourself?
The day I came out of the womb. Really deep work. I've always read and was more connected to my intuition. I grew up an athlete, so I can say that was one thing my family was pushed on us was sports, and I didn't understand. I focused on it more of an aesthetic way. Eventually, it became more of a prison than a form of liberation. And after I did got into bikini competitions, I just ended up becoming very depressed and very disconnected from myself. Even though on the outside I looked great, the inside I was just so miserable, and I was very depressed. I was suicidal. Then I ended up getting severe eating disorders and into addiction, and just I actually grew up where my dad had built an amazing business and an amazing, we were pretty well off, played travel ice hockey. And actually this is the first time I'm sharing this story. We played travel ice hockey, went to private schools, and he came from nothing. So my story is a little bit more reverse than most of the real estate people are speaking. And then because of, after his major back surgery, he ended up getting addicted to drugs to help cope with the pain. So a combination with my own personal experience and then my family experience, I was I never want to go down that route. My brothers had issues, it's just a family lineage of stuff. And so that's where eventually I had to learn my hustle, because I could no longer be crutched with the financial support that I was blessed with from the time I was born up until my early 20s. And then from there, I had to make a decision, because I was I don't know if I want to be here anymore. I don't know if I want to be here anymore. I don't think people would even recognize if I exist, because I feel like I don't exist and I don't feel like I'm contributing anything. So what's the point? What's the purpose? It's really discouraged and just very not sure if I wanted to live anymore. And then one day I don't know how it came to me, but it's okay, you're going to make a choice. You're either going to kill yourself or you're going to live on purpose with purpose. And it starts today. So then every day I just started reading some self-help books, and I just kept working out, and I just every day focused on how I could feel good. That literally was my mantra. How can I feel good today? How can I feel good today? How can I feel good today? Just focusing on today, and every single day, just a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit better, a little bit better. And then eventually, my career helped me tremendously, because I wanted to get into a very healthy career that would keep my mind in a forward movement mindset and focus on health and just different certifications, degrees, coaches, and then just, over time, here we are. So that was the big turning point was that decision that I made. And once I said, okay, and I prayed, I remember just always praying. I was God, if you help me overcome this, I swear to you, I will serve others at such high levels to the best of my ability. And then I got this little tattoo, the Jesus fish, as 22 years old. And that was a year ago. I'm just kidding. And it reminds me ever since that I would always keep my promise. And so that I've built a career out of doing what I love and serving others. And, you know, I get to see people change every single day. So it's very rewarding.
You've done more than build a career, honey. You've built a life.
Exactly. And it's like I don't even feel like it's work. I'm just like, oh wow, I get to like hang out with amazing people and help people, and you know, they're receptive to it, you know. So it's really cool. It's a really, really cool thing. But I would never have been able to be to this space I'm in if every single day I still to this day work on myself. And I told you, and at this point I'm so transparent because I had a cry session yesterday, and I had a client. And she's like, how are you like always like this? I feel like you don't really have issues. And I was like, oh, that's because I just cried for 20 minutes and I released it all. So there's tools that we use to help us, like, okay, I got to operate like professional athletes. I got to get on the field no matter what's about to happen. I got to get myself right before this game, before the Super Bowl. If you treat every single day like that, like what are my non-negotiables? What are my tools? Sometimes I have to make calls. Sometimes I need extra people to support me. And sometimes I need to just go in a parking lot, scream and cry and get it out of me, because that's what's going to work in that moment. So it's knowing like you can be self-sufficient, you're capable, and that we're all human. We all go through things. We all have triggered emotions. We all have circumstances in life. But you know what? When it's time for the game to start, you need to know how to perform. And you can't take your stuff in with you, because there's work to be done. So whatever you got to do, you got to handle it on the sidelines. And that's what this work is about. It's not about always like a pretty picture or like it's ugly. Like, and I'm very like raw and real. And I think we need more people like that. And I think that's why like Terry really respects this work, because, you know, it's like when it's game on, like you're good, like from the inside, not like a fake mask. It's like your cells feel happy, you feel liberation, you feel freedom. And then, you know, something else happens, you handle it and you move on. That's just how it works. It's life, you know?
I have to say that was very powerful, because it's you're being a very real human. And when you are authentic,
yeah.
what else can you be? I mean, I pretend to be a human. I'm a human impersonator. But when you are authentic with what your goals are, and they align with your mission, you start living in a more complete way. And you realize that you do not have to hide from your work, from your family, from your friends, because they should accept you for who you are. But that's because you surround yourself with people who will do that, because you are surrounding yourself and loving yourself.
And I accept myself. So whoever, because I accept myself first, then, you know, whoever else will accept it, you know. And it's, you know, this work, admitting this thing, it's still to this day, it's like you know, it's not comfortable. But one of the things that I love about my yoga practice is it's really prepared me to be comfortable being uncomfortable. And at this time in life, with everything going on, we need people to start showing up authentically. And because then it gives other people permission to do the same. But it just sometimes starts with one person.
And I'm so glad that you are able to show people all these amazing skills and talents so they can show up for themselves. You really have a beautiful energy about you. I cannot wait to see you in Florida, but before that, I'm going to see you in Cancun.
Yes. No, I know. Started so like super intense. I was like,
there was, honey, that personal work is never, well, no, it can sometimes be very, very light and fun. It has all sorts of dynamics.
Yeah, it becomes fun once you like overcome the humps of it, you know. And there's, you know, it's just, yeah, like let's go, game on, baby.
I want to tell everyone as you're watching, remember, those around your life, they cannot pick and choose the parts of you to love. They need to love you completely. You have to love yourself completely first. I think that Tanya would agree with that and say the same. And if you'd like to learn more about how to work with her, Tanya, darling, how can they find you, Miss Tanya Oliver?
You can find me on Instagram, Tanya C, like in cat, Oliver at Gmail. I'm giving you my email too. Tanya C Oliver at. And then I think just start there because the whole website's being redone, the rebranding. It should be up before TAP. So I've done a whole hired a whole new team, and I'm very happy everything's in alignment. But also you can email me, TanyaCOliver@gmail.com. But Instagram, direct message me. That's probably the best place.
Well, you will also find her at the TAB retreat again in Cancun, Mexico, September 11th through the 18th. We are going to put the link to sign up in the comments section below. If you'd like to learn more, please click there. And if you'd like to learn more about how you can get involved by ending homelessness for vulnerable populations, specifically LGBTQ youth homelessness, feel free to check us out at Sherlock10k.com. You'll find everything there, all of our social media, how to donate, fundraisers, and when we're coming to your city to open a home near you. So help us spread the word, spread the mission, and spread the love. I'm Jacob Jennings with the Sherlock Swins Foundation, talking on behalf of the TAB retreat with the amazing Tanya Oliver, and we will see you next time. Be blessed, everyone. Love and light.